Hey kids, we're back. Dr. Sachs, of course, and this is more Ravendawn, of course. I don't have any excuses. Don't even ask me. It's just, it's a thing. Yeah, let's not talk about it. What is this, episode 18? Episode 18. Many hours televised of this retro little game, but we're desperate for experience points, and I'd rather do it, well, online for your entertainment value and educational purposes. There you go. So I just sold off my stuff. I've got, what have I got here? I thought I sold everything. What is this stuff here? How come this didn't sell? What in the world? Hold on a minute. Could have sworn I just sold everything. Maybe my pack was so full it didn't all sell or something. That'd be a first. Wait a minute. I'll be 216 for that goblin plunder. Not bad for basic loot in this game. All right, so what are we looking at? Over almost 16,000. Just short of 16K. All right. What am I doing on my... Looks like I'm fine for buffing materials. Where should I be heading to? Speak with Commander Casper when you're ready for your next mission. Oh, we gotta go to a bounty board and get rid of this awful goblin mecha one that I picked up. It's a stinker. Yeah, no. Goodbye. So let's head over to a bounty board. The capital has everything but a bounty board. Don't ask me why. Must have something against bounty hunters. It's got everything else, including 90% of the population of the server in it, but... And I'm just on a random channel right now. I'm not even worried about war mode or whatever. We'll just let it ride. Everything is in order. There's Casper. So we'll get a new quest from him, and let's just double check this. I know I don't have enough points to buy anything good. Still hunting for that rank 2. This character is my alt character, I guess you would call him, so... it's going to force me to cancel this, probably. Yes, we'll cancel it. Bye. Kind of stinks that you can't have at least 2 of these going at one time. Especially considering how difficult it really is to... I mean, the leveling takes some time in this game, so why not allow us to have 2? I don't know. Anyway. Cave spiders. These are nasty little buggers. I want to see how I would do against these. I know that at least they're easy to get to, so let's go ahead and do that. And it's a lot of marks. That'll definitely get me over the hump. So I can get my necklace that I need for this character, for this wizard. What is your report on Witch's Crag and the bear situation? Bog spiders are forcing them from the mountains. I'll take your word for it. The settlers have been complaining. Let's hope things return to normal. Haven't been complaining. Oh, what's happening? Okay, for a second there, I thought it was on. Are you ready for another assignment? Absolutely. Alrighty then. You'll be heading north this time. It's been some unrest. Marshland and the city of the elves. Oh, elves, that's right. He's been requesting soldiers for months now. I see I'm your spare part. Oh boy, can't wait. There you go. Watch the lip. Just go up there and see what he needs, okay? The old hermit's name is Clemo. You'll find him on a small hill. See ya. All right. So the game actually might be a little on the safe side, to be honest. It's what seems to be the general consensus from the other streams that I've watched and people who gabbing about things. What do you think? Let me know in the comments on the YouTube's videos that I'm putting out. What do you think about the state of PvP in Ravendawn? Is there enough of it? Too much? Are you getting griefed? Are you doing the griefing? I want to hear. I'm curious. All right, let's see. Where's the closest port? Probably right back to the capital, I imagine. Either that or we could do the L's. I don't really feel like doing L's right now. Let's go over to, and I want to test my metal against those spiders. I bet they're going to kill me, though, because it's still a bit squishy on this character. Hey, Baz, what's happening? I think the game reminds me of any world. Seems like silver sinks are more than the... Wait, seems like silver sinks are more than the generators. What's any world? Oh, New World. Gotcha. Never played New World. I've seen plenty of people stream bits of it, and they seem to complain about New World quite a bit. So far you're running into, you don't think you're getting enough generation of income, is that what you're saying? It seems to me that I don't really run into a problem with silver, but I'm not rich or anything, that's for sure. But I'm not trying to be rich either. If you want money, there is definitely a path to money in this game, though, if you're willing to take the risks and do the merchanting and or the pirating. Maybe that's your path. Maybe you should be one of the pirates out there pillaging people and taking their trade packs. Of course, you won't be able to pillage much at your level right now, but, you know, down the road. Since you just started the game, just like not too far behind me here, I imagine. What reminds you of New World? I'm curious. The most, anyway. I want to see something. I got to check the tier 3 armor. I'm wondering what the pricing is looking like right now. Still worried about general game design? Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's a brand new game. It's still in active development. But it's free. There is that. So it ain't going to break your piggy bank, but the problem is it does have the fundamentals down that kind of creates that crack cocaine thing. So, yeah. But it's just like me playing Elden Ring. Is it the game for me? Do I like the genre? Am I enjoying it? Not so much, maybe, you know? Which is rare for me to say. But you got to admit it to yourself. So who knows? Maybe this isn't the game for you, but, you know, general rule with any gaming, right? If you're not having fun, move on to the next game. That's the only thing we can do. Right now I'm having fun with this. It's a little, you know, I think it's nostalgia bait. I will be honest, okay? There's a lot of nostalgia involved with this style of gaming. It's kind of like a throwback to Ultima Online, which is definitely drawing an old codger like me into it, I will admit. But I think it's got its own unique charm, and I think it also has an intriguing little character creation system. So so far I like the trees. I like thinking maybe I can come up with something unique in my build, you know, but that remains to be seen. Maybe it'll just end up being all a bunch of metas and it won't work out and balance will become a major issue, and I hope not, but, you know, we'll see. Although I have heard that people used to poo-poo on Melee, but then a couple of pretty qualified people that are playing this game that I've heard say that's baloney. Melee is actually quite powerful. People just are parroting what they've been hearing. So don't believe necessarily the hype on that negative Melee thing in the game. You got one trophy. The description indicated that you get buffs from housing that are useful in combat. New World also had PvP at start, but they never got it right, so it was put on hold essentially. I don't know. I think the PvP, I've not really heard complaints about the PvP as far as overall fun factor and balance in this game. Although, I mean, there's probably a general consensus that people would say, oh, range has an unfair advantage. That's so standard in PvP in every MMO I've ever done, though. That's why I say I don't necessarily think that's the case, but I've got my main character probably going full on melee so I can have a flip-flop here and test everything over time. So we'll find out. Yeah, it will be a challenge probably to actually balance it out with melee. But it's really the numbers game in my opinion. So these prices are pretty much what I expected. Oh, that is a little on the high side. This is the very beginning of these things. Let's see here. Armors. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's... Oh, well, at least these are being... Okay. Well, they're actually... These have some decent things on them. I'll have to hunt around in here. But yeah, this is getting kind of... This is kind of rich. T3 looking at like 8,500 plus for a chess piece. Ooh, and just about the same for helm. 7K for legs. All right, so we're looking at yeah, we're looking at just under 30K to outfit myself probably in just the tier 3 armor, not even including like getting a new staff. No, I'm gonna have to definitely save up the silver here in the next couple levels. I'm legacy 23 right now, and I'm close to 20. Well, I'm more than halfway to 24. I think dot damage and shield could be strong, self-buffer. Yeah, I would agree. I think the way the cards work too, especially, you can get some extra healing from dot damage. Right now I've got about 16K. I'm just barely under 16K, so I'll have to just keep grinding. Silver will make itself. Now the good news is though that I have been saving up a handful of items here in the bank that I haven't put up. So like these copper ingots, and I've got some hide, and I could actually go and maybe work with some of this stuff if I see that it might be worth a little bit more if it's refined or not. But if it's not, I'm just going to slap it up there. That could probably push me over the edge of what I might need when the time comes. So, and I could always get more serious about something like mining, gathering of some kind, and or even look at my house plot. This is, I never look at. In fact, I don't even think I've done with it. I don't think I've done anything with it in this particular character. In fact, let me go check that. I don't think I've even thrown anything down here. Maybe I did. Let's see, where is it anyway? Like, this kind of thing just doesn't intrigue me, man. I'm not a farmer. I'm not a farmer in real life. Why would I want to be a farmer in a video game? I'm just saying. What the heck? I can't even know where it is. Oh, it's down here. That's how often I go to it. Yeah, and don't forget your stats too matter too, right? So depending on what you pick for your stats will impact your armor significantly. Wait a minute, where am I? I never noticed there was a little cemetery down here. I actually haven't just wandered around some of these points of interest in this game very much. Oh, here we go. It's like right in front of me. Yeah, so I got to go to housing mode. Yeah, I haven't even planted anything here in this guy. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Except this does cost money, so I'm only going to put down like a couple. And let's see. Husbandry. Oof. Can I put a goat down? No. I have a choice between hares and pigs. I guess I'll do pigs. Who wants to slaughter little bunnies? Yeah, that's enough for me. I'm done. Until they do something with this, I'm not even like caring, to be honest. All right. At least I can say I made an effort. A lackluster effort. My wizard does not care about that stuff. He's got books to read. Yeah, I mean, it could become passive income, but considering the state of the instance housing for us right now, we're pretty much behind the 8 ball compared to the people who got in early and were able to grab their houses out in the real world. I don't know, man. Personally, I would prefer to have housing act as a base of operations, like it did in Ultima Online, and storage. And then if they had added on the potential for this kind of farming element, cool. But it doesn't really, I don't see anybody hanging out at their house, right? So it's a lot of space in the game that's just kind of sitting there. And I don't really necessarily like it very much. I think it's kind of, meh, but whatever. It's definitely not the most exciting part of the game for me at all. All right, where we got to go now? I got to go over to the island. Yeah, you're in the first tier. I wouldn't sweat it. Just go with what you gather from your quests till you get to like tier 2. If anything, you can infuse some tier 1 stuff because you can always throw the tier 1 into when you infuse your stuff for tier 2. You can just go ahead and take whatever you've infused that you gather from questing on the tier 1. Just go ahead and throw that stuff into your next tier when you get to tier 2 stuff. So I wouldn't be spending a whole lot of money on tier 1. Although a weapon might be a decent. Go look for a weapon. That might be the exception. If you can find something that's been imbued fairly well, it's on the marketplace for whatever main stats you want to be using, and that would probably be worth a little bit of pocket change. All right. So Jekko, here we come. These spiders can be a little rough, so I don't know. We'll see. Cave spiders. I've never been down to this Orca place. Orca Bay. Yeah, well, people are going to have advantages in every MMO, right? We're used to it one way or another. People that are paying right now have a slight advantage in various facets too. I'm tempted to go ahead and start slapping down a little bit of coin each month if I keep doing this. Then part of me says, well, what are you doing? You got other games to play and you can't just be streaming this retro looking MMO, especially when there's bigger streamers out there already streaming it. You know, and they're like I'm talking like these guys are on like 15 hours a day. It's crazy. So there's that. All right. So he's out here fighting the spiders. Interesting. Not optimal. Now, hold on a second. Before I get in here, let me buff. I better use my better stone for this too. Okay, we got more than one guy out here. All right, this is probably not a bad thing that they're out here because this will help me. Ooh-wee, what level are you, my little friend? 28. Can I take one of these? Let's see. I can. Ho, 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 ho. How come I only got 397 for that? What the hell? Is that wrong? Wait a minute. I'm level 22. Level 28 only gave me... That doesn't make any sense. I've got rested EXP. How the heck did I not get more for that thing? These must be kind of squishy. Yes? Hey, don't run away. Come here. There we go. 760. Somebody must have touched the other one or something. Somebody must have already attacked. That's what it is. Some of these have been attacked and they rubber banded and regenerated their hit points. That's what that had to be, because that was way more like it. 716. All right, I need to get out of this space because I'm never going to get enough EXP like this. I need to find some place that's actually... Hey, Shrek. It's going. I like it. Okay, so this is player housing right here. All right, so this is actually should be a little safe spot right here. All right, so while those guys are pulling spiders on the north side, I'll hide down here on the south side. There we go. All right, shoo, get out of my space. Go to the north. Drive me to become a PK earlier or something. Okay. All right. There's got to be a space for me around here somewhere. I'm not going to get overwhelmed by spiders and not have players. Olin. Here we go. Come here, my little friend. Oh, I got this. This is going to be good. Oh, no. 397. All right. I don't understand. It looked clean. Come on. How about you? What do you got for me? Here, take us. I can web too, you know. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Get my balance up here. Now. There. There we go. 795. Okay, so yeah, these guys are like either getting killed or not finishing off mobs in rubber banding because they're kiting too much. Like this guy must be just Mr. Kite or something. Dude, you're all over the frickin' map, man. What's going on, brother? Get out of here. Here. Evil thoughts in my wizard's brain all of a sudden. Doesn't matter what kind they are. There's the level difference. I'm effective 22. These are 27. There's no way in hell I should be getting 397 points on these things. So this guy is running around kiting and then rubber banding back to spots, and then I'm picking up stuff that's already been pre-tagged. That's exactly, see, 716. See what I mean? He's just an idiot. Well, I shouldn't say that. No, yes, he is an idiot. Didn't he see me already? Why are you, who drags mobs? He's literally all, yeah, see this? Dude. There's a bridge up there, buddy. Use it. Some people, man. Amateurs. Oh, there's another guy over here too. So there's two wizards hanging around. No, trust me, they're tagging. What I'm saying is how it works. That's what's going on. Now the little green ones are a little bit closer to my level, but... Alright, hopefully this is a fresh kill. $7.95, see? Maybe there's some more down. I doubt it. That's probably it. I don't want proportional rewards. What's the point of that? I would do that, we'd get into a group, but I'm not grouping up with people. It's not my style in games like this. I'm an unfriendly old wizard. I'm only friendly to people in my stream chat. There we go, that's better. What I could do is go to the war mode channel. In fact, let's do it. Oh, I can't do it here. That's right. I have to be in a damn protection zone. All right, fine. Realm of the Mad God. I think I have it in my collection. I don't really think I've played it that much at all. I think a buddy of mine used to play the poop out of it. I'm kind of a snob when it comes to certain levels of graphics. This is about as low as I can go. I guess it's because my first gaming experience is, you know, there was like 3 pixels on a screen. So I kind of like to have a little eye candy. All right, so there's no hidden spider caches over here, huh? Let's hoping. Oh, hello. Maybe I did find a little kind of off the path thing. Very dead. Oh man, what is up? 397. I don't know. This XP is all over the place. Here, this one should be, maybe, what is this one called? Forest spiders. Maybe it's just a different, it might just be this type, I guess. Maybe. Which would be disappointing. Okay, so the forest spiders, maybe those are the big boys. Why they are so much more, I don't really understand. They're not that much tougher. Whoop. There's another forest spider. Uh-oh. Hold on. What's happening here? Why did that fire off? Oh, I don't have a target for some reason. I somehow didn't target? How did I de-target him? That was odd. I was reading chat, and the next thing I know, I looked down, I'd lost my target. Groups of people sort of look like a train, and incidentally, that practice was done to get to max level faster, so a training train. Ah, yeah, I see what you're talking about. Yeah. I tend to be a loner type EXPer if I'm not with guildies in games like, well, any MMO. So I've never been one of those guys who's like, let me play a AoE mage so I can go and group up mobs so I can level that much faster. I tend to play classes with utility. I'm less concerned with mechanics that will definitely make life easier, I guess, and faster for level. And I probably should be more concerned with it, to be honest, but yeah. Did that thing just rubber band? Didn't seem like I went that far. Oh, but yep, that's exactly what it was. I'm starting to think that the game leveling is just slightly on the slow side. Period. I think it's a little bit of a grind, personally. Monitor. You can always rewatch the old Subnautica streams, I guess, until I come back to it and tide you over. I don't know what to tell you. Put a lot of time in it, Subnautica. I'll feel the fire again one of these days. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of nostalgia bait in this old genre. I think also what draws people to MMOs is the fact that we're constantly looking for something that'll actually meet our dreams, and we're always disappointed. It's almost like being an addict or something and trying to break the habit, and then we get off the wagon, and then we slap ourselves around the next morning. Why did I have that drink, kind of thing? So, like I say, one of these days, somebody's going to get it right. Is this guy going to die? He's really taking some damage. I thought I was a glass cannon. Uh-oh. Gotcha, buddy. Oh. Hold on. There. I think he was going to die. Boom. All right. How close are we to getting... Man, it's still going to be a while before I get that last point. Maybe when Shadow levels, I'll be able to get a point. Let's hope. The only reason you're staying is you want to know what happens next. In this game, who knows? I could get jumped by players. I could stand around at the marketplace and bore everybody to tears while I look for specific gear. Don't you love MMOs? Good thing I didn't stream WoW. I swear I used to sit in that auction house for longer than I'd like to admit. So there's no spiders over here. This is kind of a... Is this a housing area over here? Hey, I saw it first, just in case. I don't think there's room there for houses, but it would be nice. How would I even know? Let's see. Toggle house mode. I'd even find a place to build. I wouldn't even know if I tried. Although I don't think this guy has a... Oh, wait a minute, doesn't he? He might have a housing thing. No, this character does not have a housing deed yet. I think that's at 25. Oh, what's going to happen next in Subnautica? I don't know. Where did I leave off? I was pretty deep in some of those waters, fighting those dragon things, but I was pretty much at the stage where I could build a ship if I wanted to escape, I think. Man, these little buggers rubber band pretty fast. Monitors. He's like a tick on a dog with that Subnautica. He's not going to let it alone. Orange, but only $3.97. Oh, that's right. Goats River, yeah. Well, Monitor, the problem is I'm streaming and I'm trying to get to full time, so it's strategy. I can't, unfortunately, spend too much time on games that draw in fewer viewers, and that's just the stark reality of things. Plus, I'm a variety gamer, so I have to move on after, you know, if I spend more than a couple of weeks on something, you know, like this is going to be kind of a side game probably for a long time because it doesn't really necessarily have to be something I sweat. I can just return to it, grind, whatever. So that's why I'm doing like Elden Ring on Saturdays right now. Because I do more Elden Ring if I was having more fun and wasn't getting so salty on that damn game. I would stream it more often, but I'm avoiding it. That's right. I admit it. I'm avoiding Elden Ring. Oh boy, I got two of them on me now. Hold on. I gotta stop talking for a second. Oh, he rubber banded. Oh, and then there's another one. There we go. And then sometimes I just get bored with a game and need to take a break. Or I'm not happy with the game mechanics, like kind of happened with Dragon's Dogma, I think. Console port stuff gets on my nerves. Yeah, this game's a time sink waiting to happen. Now, if you were going to main a game and just play one game like a lot of people do, then you would never have anybody come in going, when are you going to play such and such anymore, right? But I also don't know, I don't understand how some of these people keep playing Tarkov every damn day. I'm like, man, aren't you going crazy? Especially considering how many hackers were playing that game. And all it is just loot, 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 kill, loot, 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 kill, kill, loot, 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 loot. And I'm like, oh, it's not even fun to watch 50% of the time. Just basically the interface in Dragon's Dogma, not being able to keybind stuff, just like, it's a little old. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I'm not big on JRPGs in general. I don't like some of the camera stuff that they do in the game where it, you know, instantly grabs my camera. Next thing I know, I'm at some weird perspective, that kind of thing. I just don't find myself that gravitated towards it. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think the next one is going to be worth playing. That's why I checked it out. But as far as like finishing it, I'm not finding myself going, oh man, I really got to finish this game. So who knows for sure why. Oh. $533 for him. Somebody must have scratched it. Or he was a little loaded. Maybe he was a 27 out of 28. You wouldn't call Dragon's Dogma JRPG since pressing A and skipping a bunch of dialogue is a staple of JRPG games. I guess so. I don't know. It's the cutscene type stuff that happens in real time when you're fighting that triggers me with that style of game. So to me, that's JRPG. You don't see Western games do that very often. Unless I guess maybe it's a console thing too. But for PC gaming, that's having somebody suddenly interrupt your gameplay with some awkward game design element in real time is it's unusual. Like if you're playing Skyrim, you wouldn't suddenly have your camera view changed on you all of a sudden in the middle of a fight. That's just one thing that came to mind. This guy teleporting. A lot of people out here. I'm kind of surprised how many people are out here. Well, we're chipping away at this though. 15,000 out of 60 while I'm talking to you guys. Don't rubber band on me. There we go. Yeah, I like those. If I could just have nothing but those at $7.95 a pop, we'd be leveled in no time. Yeah, people lurk. There's always lurkers. I love lurkers. Lurkers are the lifeblood of a streamer. Most people lurk. I lurk. I go into people's chats all the time and don't say a word. I ain't got time to be typing at people when I'm trying to rest between streams. Of course, that's not strictly true. You'll see me talk once in a while at somebody else's stream. Yeah, I like these $7.95 ones. No, my bus is off. Oh, my drink. There we go. Plus, I multi-stream, so some folks are in the Twitch if you're on the YouTubes and vice versa. So, and Twitch doesn't allow us to combine our chats, unfortunately, anymore. So that's why that stuff's not on the screen. Not my choice, guys. It just is what it is. I have to abide by the rules or get bandaged. Oops. Oh, he actually webbed me. Uh-oh. Hold on. This is gonna be bad. I'm out of my, Now you could rubber band, please. Whew. Okay, that got spicy. Yeah, that's right. I have no pots on me. No heal pots. See? That's what happens. Get overconfident. Forget an essential. And I'm not getting drops of loot bags. Let's see, do I have any loot bags at all? I'm not getting loot bags off these things, so I'm not even able to randomly get a pot. Okay, so I got to keep that in mind while I'm jabbing at you guys. That if I get double tapped here by spiders, I could die relatively easily because these are high level. Oop, here we go again. All right, we're all right. Give me a workout here. Here, let me go down here and sip my coffee for a minute. Is it peaceful down here? I think so. Read the chat. I'm just surprised. That's one of the reasons I'm streaming Ravendawn, to be honest. I mean, people are commenting on the videos. They're watching the videos. They're coming into the stream. How can I deny? How can I be like, well, I'm not going to play this game? Why would I? I'm not going to play this game. It doesn't look modern enough as to, you know. Hey, man, people are digging the game. They're coming into the stream. I'm digging the game. That's the right combination. That's exactly what you want as a streamer. And hopefully as a viewer. And as this game gets spicier as time goes on and I get higher level, that means PvP will start to happen, and then it becomes a whole nother thing. Who knows? Maybe some guild will actually get me to join them. It'll be like back in college when they begged me to join the fraternities. Oh yeah, no, I'm good, guys. I'll keep crashing your parties. Wasn't Subnautica 1 a bit like lightning in a bottle? I tell you, if you haven't played Subnautica, play it. It's a great game. And eventually I'll probably play the second one too. Very, very, very good game. Reminded me of Valheim as far as like overall game design quality and just a lot of thought put into every level of it. Definitely can spend a lot of hours in it before you even know what's going on, especially if you enjoy base building and exploring. It's got all that. Oh, I hate when that timer's up. I might need to move my my ether bottle there to a point that I see it easier. Okay, I'm in trouble again. I'm gonna die. Yep. Too busy chit-chatting. I gotta get some pots. I wonder how much they cost off the auction house. Or maybe I could just go to the regular alchemist vendor. Never thought about doing that. Luckily, I didn't really lose much there. I think my buffs wore off. Yeah, so these spiders are good grind, but they are a little dangerous if I don't have a heal pot. So let's go do that. Outer Wilds is in my library, I think. I haven't played it yet. I don't know. I can't keep track. I have so many games that I buy on sale when I can. I've heard nothing but good things about Outer Wilds. Yeah, this will be just like every other game of this type. If you get outnumbered, in PvP, you're going to have a real problem unless you have some serious gear and a bit of a level advantage of some nature. Then you might be able to win. I don't know. Remains to be seen. I'll be happy just to win a PvP fight. I haven't won anything. I haven't tried to really win anything. I know I'm too low level to match up against anybody that's going to be murdering people in this game, but it's fun when it happens. I get a chuckle. All right, let's check the pricing on here first. I imagine the pots are probably going to be too pricey. Probably if I want pots, an easy way to do it would be to just go up to the elves and farm them for a little bit on that quest, and then they'll probably drop bags, and I can get some pots for free from them. So you think below zero is worse? Yeah, Subnautica 2 is going to be using the Unreal 5 engine, so it should be pretty epic. Just about anything worth playing now is going to be, that's in development, is going to be using Unreal 5. In fact, what was it? There was another game that just swapped over to that engine recently that's in development. I forget what it was, but it was something I should remember. All right, so let's see. Were these under consumables? Potions. Here we go. Oh, those aren't bad. What the heck? These are cheap. These are mana. Let's see. Intermediate health. Okay, that's not horrible. How much for just some basic? Let's see. Lesser is probably cheap, hopefully. Nope, they're not super cheap. Cheap enough, though. I'll take a couple of these. Or should I? Hold on. Let me go check the alchemist. Where's that alchemist at? Is he right over here? Yeah. Do you have stuff for sale? Yeah, he does. Oh, look at these they're cheaper here. Come on, guys. Can't be putting stuff up on the auction house. It's more expensive than the vendors. These intermediates are cheaper, too. What a bunch of wise guys. Here, I'll buy 3 intermediate. Five lesser. What the heck just happened? How did that get used? I left clicked and was pulling the damn icon and it drank the pot. Oh, Lord. Okay. Interesting. Oh, I did get a supply bag. Oh, here. Don't do it again to me, please. That was annoying. Yeah, the UI is a little wonky, but that's the first time I've seen that happen. But I'm not usually dragging these around either. But yeah, I mean, obviously I have dragged them before. I don't know how that happened. That was weird. Maybe I double-clicked somehow. I don't think so, though. Anyway, what do we get out of this? 179 silver. Couldn't give me a pot. Stingy game. All right. Now let's go kill some elves and see if I can get some pots off of them. Now we'll go back to the spiders. Let's be smart about this. They'll still be easy to kill. It doesn't hurt to get quest XP in this game. It helps. Maybe there's even some gear that I'm not thinking or remembering. It's been a while since I've done these initial quests. All right, monitor. Take it easy. Good night or good evening. No, I cannot guarantee. There are no guarantees in life, monitor. Sorry. Just gonna be, I guess, like I say, you're gonna have to go long enough that my streams of Subnautica will be new again. It's just me being mean. Sorry. I'm just kidding. Just a joke. I'll play it eventually. Have faith. There's other streamers out there surely playing Subnautica. There are like thousands of streamers. There's nobody playing Subnautica. Well, 50 years, I can tell you this much. I won't take 50 years to return to it because I won't live 50 years. So you can have that much of a promise out of me. Yeah, Monitor, you can be the Subnautica streamer. That's a good idea. Wait a minute, what am I looking for here? Swamp fever. Oh, wait, this isn't even the right area. Hold on a second. I thought I had an elf. Oh, no, I thought this was the elves. Oh, this is Clemo. Didn't he mention elves in that? I could have sworn somebody mentioned elves. Let me check my thing here. I guess maybe the elves will come after this. Alright, let's just kill these. Well, I mean, there's a little learning curve to becoming a streamer, I will admit, but it's not insurmountable. Obviously, plenty of people doing it, so... But it has to be something you really want to do also. So I'm not... No pressure. Where's the tobacco I ordered? You're 3 weeks late. Sounds like Monitor. Where's Subnautica? Commander Casper said you've been requesting soldiers. Boulders? You got to speak up, Sonny. No soldiers. Commander Casper said you needed soldiers. You got to... is that English? What are you typing there? Go to bed. You're typing's getting that bad. You need some rest. This guy calls the toads frogs. What do you want me to do? How are they destroying your land? What do you want me to do? Kill 20 toads. Got it. 20 frogs then. I'm back. All right. Easy peasy. Just drop me some health pots. This is like seal clubbing, killing stuff my own level. Or less. Oh, is that Skibidi? I'd never seen Skibidi before, or Phantom. So yeah, you're using some words that are like straight out of a Kubrick movie or something on me. Take it easy. Thanks for dropping by. Oh, isn't like risen like flirting or something? I don't think these kids know how to flirt, so they had to come up with a new word for it. Yeah, it's rough times to be in your 20s. It's too expensive to live in housing. Things are not good for these youngsters. I feel for them. I thought it was bad when I was single and on my own. At least I could afford a one-bedroom apartment. Good gracious, now they can't even afford that. Wish my range, I could wish there was a way to increase range. Is there a way to increase range? If anybody knows of a way to increase range in this game, absolutely let me know, because wizards want to know. Oh, there's plenty of work, but certain groups of people aren't getting hired, and we have getting flooded by people who are jacking up the hourly wages, so companies can't afford to hire, and small businesses are going out of business, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a whole list of problems here in the U.S. that should have been dealt with decades ago, now are coming to haunt us, and it's not like anybody wasn't warning anybody about it. But our politicians are crooks. And the corporate heads are communists, ironically. Don't get me going. There's a whole hour's worth of griping that I could do on that without even blinking. Put it this way, it ain't like the news you guys get in different parts of the world. They love to lie about the state of the United States. They don't know what they're talking about, or they're just flat out wrong, or they're flat out lying. That's been my experience whenever talking to Europeans and stuff. See you, Modern. Settings, mics, targeting. Be quiet, Shrek. Don't tease like that. I wish there was a setting in there. Am I done with the 20 already? Yeah. No, 8 remaining. I must have ignored this quest for a long time on this character. I think because I just don't like the toads or something. I'm not big on swamps, period. Has anybody got a least favorite biome? Mine is almost always swamps. Maybe it's because I'm from Florida originally, and if you're from Florida, you don't want to spend time in the swamps. Or we get alligators everywhere. I don't know. Some aversion. Yeah, you didn't know there's alligators all over the place in Florida? That's common. Florida Gators, University of Florida. We got all kinds of stuff here. Like, I've lived in Florida and Texas, and every poisonous thing you can think is in those states. The only place I can think of offhand that's probably worse than those two places for poisonous critters would be Australia. We got toads in Florida that'll kill you. And little coral snakes that they munch on you, you're pretty much done. Luckily, they have to munch on you. They don't have fangs. So it's very, very rare, but... See, Shrek has alligator pets. Well, at least you're not one of those weirdos that like spiders. I got an acquaintance and her husband that they have these creepy spiders that they keep. They're not even, I don't think they're even tarantulas. They're some kind of big spider breed or something. And I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. There's got to be a story there somewhere. Maybe they're, maybe that's from some college degree I haven't asked them about or something. I don't know. You get into that kind of thing. I hear alligators are good eating sometimes, but you can't get me to eat it. Everything's like, tastes like chicken. Yeah, well, I'll just eat chicken, thanks. It's like there's certain parts of the bull I'm not going to eat either. Don't care what anybody says. Hunter spiders. Oh, are those big nasty things in Australia? Yeah, no thank you. I don't think I could live in Australia just because of that. I used to have arachnophobia really bad when I was younger. I've gotten over it since I lived in Texas. Had to, because it was like there's tarantulas and stuff in Texas. And oh my God, there are millipedes. There are millipedes in Texas that'll give you nightmares. You don't even want to know. They look like something out of Star Trek. Hunter spiders? No. Well, the spiders in Australia are definitely not harmless. I'm sure there's more than one breed of spider in Australia, though, so some probably are harmless for the most part, but there's definitely some there that scare the living crap out of people. I know for a fact. I've seen plenty of footage of... There was one time I saw some politician, it was like a mayor of a town or something, giving a speech behind a podium, and then she suddenly froze because there was one of those damn spiders could crawl up on her leg and they didn't want her to get bit or something. I was like, no, I'm out, thanks. I'd be done. I'd be on the next plane. Bye. Yeah, we don't ride to work on a horseback either in Texas, despite all the things that the people might say on the MSNBC and all that stuff. Yeah, that's the running joke. Although it is true, everybody in Texas knows how to shoot and has guns. So don't ever invade Texas. That's my best advice. You think Afghanistan is bad. Remember when the U.S. government was threatening Texas for a week there? And then Texas said, no, I think we'll keep defending the border. And we haven't heard anything about it ever since because you know why? Because the government knows better. They don't want to get in a fight with Texas. That's the one state that they do not want to mess with. All right, I killed enough of them. So you guys helped me pass the time there. I didn't even realize I killed 20 of them. Well, they do actually eat a lot of... They do eat a lot of meat in Texas, a lot of beef. That is actually true. But not every night. But they would if they could afford it. But the Texas steakhouses are pretty pricey. Is this Clemmo right here? Yeah. And the barbecue is amazing. Although I will say the barbecue here in the Carolinas is great too, but it's a different style barbecue. There's a lot of great barbecue across the U.S. There's great food all across this nation, actually, if I'm being honest. You gotta just know where to go. The best Tex-Mex in the world, probably the best Mexican food, you know, north of Mexico is in Texas. They try to convince me that there's good Mexican restaurants here in North Carolina, and so far I'm just like, well, I don't think so. You guys haven't been to Texas. There is one or two here that are better, but most of them are subpar. Oh, now I got to do the water pump kit thing. Get the water samples. You hear they want the border open because first you get more votes for Democrats, true, and the immigrants have to go to the military for the right to vote citizenship. That is a plot that they're trying to make reality. In reality, you're not supposed to be putting foreigners into the U.S. military, but they have been trying to change that, and that's part of the plan to get foreigners into our military so that they'll be able to convince people in the military eventually to be used against this U.S. citizenry. So that's what they're doing. Because it's a voluntary military, so they'll never get U.S. soldiers to fire on their own in a civil conflict. More than maybe a handful of incidents before the military would rebel. So the theory is that they're trying to bring all these foreigners in to change the face of the entire nation, but also to be able to use the military against the population eventually. Sad but true. Here we go. But as far as like the borders being open, it's just, at this point, it's just flat out treason. And I don't understand any other excuses except that that's how corrupt our government is, that nobody's being held accountable ever. The number one priority of the federal U.S. government is to protect the borders. And the fact that they're actually facilitating invasion is literally treason. So I don't give a damn what party they're in. If they're actually not doing anything to either stop the invasion and or facilitating it, then they're literally traitors, and by U.S. law, they should be in front of a firing squad. You think that's ever going to happen? Me neither, because we don't have a working government anymore. Pretty bad state of affairs. And of course, this isn't just the U.S. It's like all across the Western world, we've got governments that don't do the will of the people anymore. So anyway, see what I'm saying? Shouldn't get me going because I used to be a pundit, so I could just go off. And plus, YouTube doesn't want to have real talk on its channels. They want kitty videos and makeup tutorials. That's why I play games and stream video games, so I don't have to think about all that nonsense, I guess. Because nothing's going to fix it, except maybe God. Wait a minute, is there a route up there that I missed? There might be actually a path up here. It's not really how it's always been. It's been that way for the last 50 years. The corruption's been bad in the U.S. for 100 years. Things got really bad post-World War II. See, I've done all this, right? Yeah. Everything changed after World War II. That's when everything started to get on the wrong path. And then it was the 60s that just really did a number on everybody's. The 60s is when it really started to be obvious. Well, it's obvious now, looking back. But then people didn't realize what was happening. We're always being told that things are good for us, you know. Sexual liberation, all these things. And then it turns out, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. Something to be said for traditions that have been around for a long, long time. That's why they're traditions, and sometimes they're good traditions. But, like I say, can't force people to be wise or good or moral. You're going to have to just let it sort itself out and pray, I guess. All I do. Did I miss this one? No. There's still 4 of these things. Must be to the south. Aaron Clary? I'm not sure who that is. Heard the name. Oh, well, feminism is definitely a problem, but, you know, people are waking up to that, thankfully. Pendulum, when the pendulum swings too far at anything, people realize, oh, wait a second. But it takes a while. Too long, usually. That's a problem with humanity. We never really get the message until it's like in our backyard and your barbecue's on fire, right? Then you finally go, oh, wait a minute, maybe we got a problem. They don't listen to guys like me. I've been ranting about stuff for 25 years. It's only now people are catching up, and I'm like, okay, finally. Finally, some of you are starting to wake up to some of the bigger problems. Like, look at this craziness that's going on right now. We're on the brink of World War III, and most people are oblivious. Wait a minute. Is there another? Oh wait, I didn't place one here. Oh, there's another one right behind me. I didn't see it. Yeah, I'm talking about politics. I need to stop. It's distracting me. My questing. Yeah, exactly. They don't wake up till they're in the slave camps is a good way to put it. And anybody in Europe should be aware of that, especially certain parts of Europe. The Polish understand, the Hungarians understand. You know, the nations that have been pulled and tugged at back and forth over the centuries, they get it. But even they're being misled now into giving up their protections and their borders. And it's just, you know, there's always elements that want to destroy. And they'll go after everybody with zeal until they get their way, especially if there's money to be made. Look at the poor Ukrainians. Best thing Ukrainians could have done, and I said it in the first week, was surrender. You know how many lives would have been saved if they just surrendered to the Russians? And the Russians wouldn't have mistreated them. They just would have been, okay, this part's now Russia, this part's still Ukraine. And then they would have been like, now make us guarantees that you're not going to join with NATO and we'll have peace. And that would have been the end of it. But no, the propaganda machine here in the USA and different parts of Europe kicked in, scared the living hell out of everybody and thought, oh my God, it's the Russians coming. And that was it. And now you got 500,000 dead Ukrainians. Entire generations wiped out. Now, who wants that, I wonder? Geez, that's the bigger question that people should be asking. A lot of Ukrainians consider themselves to be Russians, from what I've heard. And that's part of the thing. There's different parts of Europe that used to be under sway of different nations, and then some of this is just trying to sort itself out. And then you get idiots here in the United States getting involved that are either lying or don't know anything about anything, and then they make it worse. Instead of just letting the Europeans fix their own issues with peaceful measures instead of going to war. Yeah, I heard Putin. Well, Putin understands history. Putin has more in his head as far as IQ points and understanding of history than probably our entire Congress combined over here. I'd love to see one of our sitting politicians actually give us an American history lesson as deep as Putin just gave about that part of Europe. Right off the top of his head. I think he was trolling Tucker to some extent, but yeah, there's a mixture of reasons. But one of the bigger reasons that he just didn't want to touch on was still UN. The UN Charter is going against their promises and ended up threatening the borders of Russia. That's the biggest reason, really. He had no choice. If I was in the same position as an old diplomacy player or war gamer, I'd have done the exact same thing. He was given no choice, really, at that point. He had to make a move. Otherwise, UN would have gotten even bolder, and then we would be in World War III right now. Okay, where's this last one at? Yeah, NATO is a problem. NATO... We should have peace. Why do we not have peace with Russia? Someone please explain that part to me. There is no good reason for Western politicians to continue to paint a non-Soviet, non-communist state of Russia as the boogeyman all the time. And yet that's what they do. So there's ulterior motives, right? Yeah. It's pathetic, really. Now, the Russians have more in common with us than China, and we're friendlier with China. It doesn't make any damn sense. Okay. Where is this last pool? Russia's not going to invade Europe. Russia had its chance. Nobody ever asked the question, why did the Soviets have all those tanks that they fought the Germans with? The Soviets were going to invade Europe, is the answer. Russians aren't going to invade. They're not Soviets. It would benefit nobody to have another conflict with the bear and the rest of Europe. It would just be a bloodbath. You have to have an ideology like the crazy communists in order to even instigate something like that. And those days are over. At least over there. We've got communists over here now that are a bigger threat than the Russians, which is what they want to keep kind of like everybody misunderstanding. The bigger threat to the United States is actually inside the United States, not outside. And the bigger threat to Europe is inside of Europe. Look at the leaders of Europe. Look at the horrible leadership all across the Western world. Those are the people that are the bigger threat. It's not the Russians or even the Chinese. It ain't the Martians, it ain't aliens, none of this the stuff they distract us with. It's our leadership that's the problem. The big banks, the giant corporations, the megacorps, those are all the science fiction that we used to read that pretty much has predicted all this stuff. It's all coming true. It's all turning into, what was that crazy video game where it was like the Syndicate? It's like Syndicate where all the corporations run the world and stuff. That's where we're at now. Well, it goes deeper. I can't even get into the truth of what's really at the bottom of it because then I would get banned. Sadly. Okay, I don't know where this last stupid thing is. Am I blind? I hate quests like this. Everything looks the same. It'd be easier if there was just more than one pool that you needed. Like if there was like 8 or 9 and you needed 7 out of the 9, then it'd be like you split in and out. Well, Putin won't live forever. Look at this mushroom we've got leading the United States. He shouldn't be in office. He should have been removed months ago. He's incompetent. He's obviously got, dementia. He's putting the entire world at risk. And here we are pretending he's leading things. Putin ain't the problem. Biden's almost got us in 3 shooting wars right now. We're on the brink of World War, and people are talking about, well, who might replace him because they know they can't run him in the next election, if we can get to an election. All right, stairs. Stairs. All right, I've got to stop talking politics in the channel, or I will get censored. Oh, Pelosi's an idiot. She's just a corrupt hag. She has no brains. She's not leading anything. She doesn't run Biden. Pelosi is just the nouveau riche, the corrupt U.S. royalty that shouldn't exist, that sit in abject treason against the Republic. She's a multi-millionaire who profits off of inside stock trading. And luckily, she ain't going to live forever either. But the fact that a woman like that could even remain in that seat of power this long should tell you all you need to know about how corrupt the government is. Oh, and how stupid too many Americans are. Finally, I smoked 8 bowls in your absence, good thing. You move slower than a fat one-legged tortoise. Lots of frogs, but here are the samples. Good job. Frogs are aggressive. Now let me ask you a question. You ever heard of terraforming? Yes. All right. Use the regrowth stone on the underground stone pillars to regrow the moss. If you think that a sitting politician as smart as Putin is actually going to tell you the real reasons why he does anything, you've got a lot to learn about how the world works, I hate to tell you. Smoke and mirrors. He'll give you a little bit, but he's never going to tell you the whole truth. Everybody in the world should be concerned about an aggressive United States. I hate to say it, I'm an American citizen, but we are the biggest threat to the world right now outside of Israel. I think this is the place, yeah. When you get as big as a nation like ours and you're run by incompetent crooks, that's when bad things really happen. And what's really amazing is that we haven't gotten into a world war yet. It's going to happen by accident one of these mornings. We're going to wake up and there it is. They've definitely set the stage for it. These people aren't smart enough to stop it. They think they are, but they're all idiots, so there's no way they're going to stop it. They keep, like, you know, you go and you tug the tiger's tail enough times, you're going to get a freaking claw, you know. That's where we're at. Yeah, well, we all know that that's already a problem in the militaries of the world and everything else, so, yeah. Too late. Weakening the U.S. military in every single way they can come up with. So if they get us into a shooting war, we won't even be able to win. Farseers. See how these casters do the most damage? No, well, you get that. Yeah, you're right on that, unfortunately. They're going to have everything they want when they can use a robot military force. They've got all these people who have given them their DNA samples and they have their GPS coordinates, etc. Nobody will be safe. It'll be like Terminator. People think that's a hyperbole. Like, okay, y'all just live in your little fantasy worlds and think that ain't gonna happen. Like, you better believe it's gonna happen one day. These things. There we go. All right, one more pillar. Of course they do, because we all have the same fundamental problem. Like I said, I can't talk about the actual causes, because the actual causes don't want to be talked about. And if you talk about them, then you risk everything, your career, your life. There's a root problem to everything, because we live in a spiritual conflict. God is real, the devil is real, and we're in a fight for good and evil. And that's always been the way of it, and it always will be the way of it until the end. And people, they want to believe what they want to believe. They want to live their lives the way they want to live it, but the fundamentals never change. See, the truth never changes, right? The truth is what it is. Lies change every day. And that's what people feel in their gut. They understand there's something wrong with this world. Well, yeah, Jesus told us. He warned us. But people don't want to believe it. They were like, oh, I don't want to be part of that religion. I've been told it's horrible and that it's full of liars and deceit and whatever. Yeah. I'm sure all these other world religions have got it right. Like, what I tell people is simple. Find your way. And when you finally have gone to the point where you can't go any farther and you're distraught, then you'll hopefully find your way to God. That's my best advice to people. Happened to me. I feel sad for the people that never get the message. I think most people in the Western world, though, fundamentally still understand the root of what I'm saying, and they will come to their senses eventually. And then maybe we can restore our nations to greatness again, and we can actually have peace. But, you know, it's probably a pipe dream, because there's always going to be, like I say, there's always going to be people trying to instigate war and corruption, no matter what you do. So that's why you got to defend yourselves. That's why having open borders is such a big deal. If you can't even defend your borders, you might as well not even lock the door in your house. The same damn thing, fundamentally. It's like, would you feel comfortable having an open door at night when you go to sleep and your kids are in bed, knowing that there's criminals out there? Of course not. But we still have crazy people all spewing this nonsense about bring everybody into every nation, everything will be fine. It will stay the same nation, nothing will ever change. It's like, okay. Doesn't that sound nice? But it's like the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I'm telling you, Ukraine should have surrendered. 500,000 dead Ukrainians was the plan all along. The people that wanted that war wanted dead Ukrainians, and they want the land in Ukraine. They've been played. Ukraine's been completely played by the powers that I'm talking about. That's the sad fact. And they're already buying up the real estate. Pennies on the dollar. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen all the videos. But see, the thing is, the people he's talking about are the people I can't talk about. It's not necessarily the Russian people. It's not necessarily Putin and others like him. It's the people that run the show behind the scenes, the shadow governments, the deep state that we hear about. See, when my old man was alive, they called it the shadow government. Now they've renamed it the deep state. So basically, you just have these institutionalized operators that can't be easily removed. They're not elected, and they work for the global powers and the corporate leaders and the forces of evil. Right? It's kind of like the Smirch of James Bond, right? Those secret Illuminati groups, they're out there and they're the ones moving things. Those are the ones that, you know, can't easily be stopped. And so they cause these wars, and they profit off of them. It's a cycle that's been going on for centuries. That's why I say it's going to get... If anything, it'll just get biblical, because how can you stop stuff like that? Individual people can't stop it. Hell, we can't even stop it as organized states anymore, apparently. Anyway, enough. I promise I'm done now. My intentions are good, but the problem is the world doesn't care about good intentions. It'll just penalize you. Oh yeah, well the corruption's already been done to all of us. Like I say, if you want to examine how they make it work, just look at the 60s. Go to the 60s and just follow the path from the 60s, and you'll see exactly how they've done it. It's actually pretty basic. All right, where is this thing at? I think there's one over here, maybe. Oh, I gotta go down again. You got to go get rations. Smartest move. Do not buy the rations off the NPC that's in the city in the south. Just go to the auction house. You can get it for cheap. Just type in rations. You'll see MOA rations. Just click on that and you'll see them listed. Should be pretty cheap. Just get like 10 rations to start. You should be fine. Sure, some people make mistakes. I make mistakes. But then some people are smarter than other people. Some people actually study history. Some people actually aren't foolish. Those are the people we need to make our leaders. We got to ask, why don't we ever have leaders like that? Surely there's something to... I hate the fact that that looked like it should be the damn moss stone right there, but it's not. It's even marked on the map. Wow, look how fast these things pop. Maybe it's over here. Yeah, getting trolled by the game here. There we go. It's not even... I don't know. I guess maybe that's where the marker... I hate the markers in this game because the little arrow thing on the bottom of the thing is... But don't you dare! Get off my... Alright, he can do it for himself. Good, I was about to kill him. Guy seems to know the way out. He's an elf, right? He should know. He doesn't know where he's going either. Silly elves. There we go. A lower testosterone. Yeah. Definitely something to that too, unfortunately. You know what's crazy is somebody did a study recently that proves that men my age have higher testosterone levels than men in their 20s now. That's kind of nuts. Oh, now the giant mushroom. Back in the caves then. This is why I hate these frogs. I hate these caves. Oh, there we go. Old Zunix again. Why does every game put those crazy, unrealistic archery abilities in? Anybody know? Who started that trend? Here's the mushroom. What if this will spawn more? Yep. Make it a little spicy. Okay, I can't get by these guys. Thank you. There's one more down here that needs to die. Back to Clemmo. There's a movie where archery does this stuff? I can't see that. I think Legolas should be the limit of how crazy an archer can be portrayed, but everything's got to be so over the top in these games. I prefer more realism in combat base mechanics, but it's just me. Is it down here? I don't remember. I think he found one of those stones up here. I'm not touching that. Oh, I found a stone. Oh. Well done. I've got that crazy movie, that Indian movie. I haven't watched it, but I know what you're talking about, yeah. Over the top CGI. What the heck is this? Oop, hold on. All right, frogs. Wasn't ready. I think I can just tank them. Hold on. Target. Need more mana. Okay. Oh, you bastard. Man, they just keep coming. It seems like an inordinate amount of them for some reason. Why am I not targeting this caster? Ooh, finally. And a guy came down here. His last thing we needed was for somebody to steal this. Those are dangerous, by the way, what I just did there, so don't do that lightly. I couldn't read the chat. Ascension, wow, no. Never heard of it. Heard of turtle. Random abilities on level. That'd be interesting. It could get kind of bad too, though. Man, this quest just goes on and on and on. Okay, finally. Well, I hope my land gets back to normal eventually. So do I, buddy. I don't want to be out here again. I don't know what I'd do with it, honestly. Looking for something more useful out there? All right, maybe you could work these materials into something. Take this for everything you've done. It's hard to find good help out here. All right, thank you, Clemo. All right, there we go. 1,200 silver. Not bad. I think he gave me a dex ring, which I'm not going to use. The main gimmick of having random abilities and level up is pretty fun stuff. You can also re-roll them. But that was expensive and required dailies. Okay. Well, at least you have the opportunity to re-roll. That's cool. Who's messaging me? Sorry, hold on a second, guys. Dex, yeah, if you just hover over your stats, you'll see it to tell you what it impacts. But yeah, for the most part, it increases haste. Haste, spell defense, and weapon defense. Sorry, real life things happening, I guess. Urgh. I should go to Casper. I forgot to talk to him. We can just go back to the spiders. Did I level something? Something leveled. Oh, we're close. Oh, my legacy leveled. We're real close to leveling Shadow, and hopefully that'll give us the extra skill point. I may have to stop the stream earlier than I anticipated. We'll see what happens here. Oh, there's a spawn right here. Oops. What the heck? Oh, that's a player house. I was like, why can't I go through that door? Can you toads just go away, please? Need enough toads today. Dawn Essence. I got a bunch of bags here. Okay, there's some pots. Feed your Moa some of these, or pretty much feed them all these treats that you find. You can feed them all at once. It just increases the bonding in real time, so. So, that's all I got. One toad leg out of all that. Game's super stingy with trash drops. I'm pretty sure by design. That's why if you're paying a little bit of real life coin, you'll make a lot more silver overall. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's pretty stingy with certain elements for sure. Oh man, what is there? Is there here? All right, a little more grinding. Just waiting on some responses here on the old. Got somebody asking, is this tibia on one of my YouTubes again? Might as well be Tibia as often as people ask me that question. Desperate for that points I can put into a passive. Tired of watching my health bar against these higher levels. Yeah, the market will balance itself. But I probably, if I was to keep playing this religiously, I would have no choice but to come up with a, you know, some kind of a secondary way of making good money in the game, because the rich people will be the ones that'll have all the best gear and be the most dangerous in the PvP, and you can't have all that. Okay, so we won't be interrupted tonight, although I may go and play some BG3 later, but if I do that, I might stream that. All right, yeah. I don't think we'll be having to jump off stream here right now. I'd stay out for a little while longer. I am getting hungry, though, for a pork chop. Well, Ultima had a different economy entirely, because the economy was driven by player goods and full loot. So, yeah. It was really, I mean, UO had some pretty fun mechanics early on. With you could even have your own merchants outside of your own player housing, and you would put your stuff on your merchant. And that, a lot of times, like for somebody like me, that'd be an alt that I would run separately from, like, say, my main character that might be at that point red and couldn't go to town, and then I would just have my alt take goods, whether I was taking them as a good guy or bad guy. It doesn't really matter. It was the same outcome. I'd be selling other players' loot that I'd gotten from fights to make profit and to keep me in the reagents and all the things that I ever needed. Or I would just get so many reagents off of PvP that I wouldn't have to worry about it. So the spellcasting would fuel itself by the PvP, one way or the other. So, yeah, and plus it wasn't just easy to be a caster. You had to have reagents that literally were needed for casting spells, and that was a whole other little mini game unto itself. And if you ran out of Black Pearl at the wrong time, it usually would be the difference between life and death. So. think I need to change a setting in my... See if it makes a difference. See a little bit of weird lag in this game, and I changed frame rate limit to my monitor, but thinking this game doesn't have enough intelligence to do that right, so we'll just put it at max again. See if it smooths out at all. Yeah, well, gaming was just harder, period, back in the day. Things have gotten way easier over time. Like, their market has expanded. You've got a bunch of more casuals. Even the running gag is that the journalists don't even know how to game anymore. The so-called gaming journalists. Oh, this game is too hard. And like, what? What do you mean it's too hard? They wouldn't have been able to hack it for 15 minutes in some of the games back in the 90s. I mean, even Diablo, the original Diablo was a whole nother ball of wax compared to the modern Diablos. That's where I first encountered player killing. Player versus player combat pretty much came about in Diablo. If it was outside of an arena thing like Quake or Doom, that was the first RPG level player versus player murdering that started happening. That's where the whole term player killer evolved, was from Diablo. Because you could have your lobby open and randos would just jump in, and people found out pretty quick that sometimes they had ill intent and they would kill you and you exploded like a piñata and they would take your stuff. Yeah. Of course, they don't have that anymore in Diablo, do they? Sure, Ultima's older than Diablo 2, but Diablo 1 was where the player versus player first started. I found out about Ultima while I was playing Diablo. I literally ran into a developer from Origins who got me into the closed beta for Ultima while I was playing Diablo. Yeah, those were interesting times. Heck, I almost got hired by LucasArts once. They had an awesome Western shooter that was ahead of its time with great stories and really cool ambiance, Outlaws, that unfortunately never really panned out for them. It didn't make a lot of money. It would probably have made a lot more money nowadays because of the advertising and the YouTubes and all that. But anyway, great voice acting, great animation, cinematics and stuff. You know, kind of like, I don't know, not exactly anime, but anime influenced, and classic Western setting. Really old school graphics, you know, similar to this, but with like shooting each other. You know, you can run different class types, like a sheriff, an evil doctor, etc. Different gunplay mechanics. A Mexican bandito with like dual pistols. And anyway, I had the website, the biggest website for the game in the world, just because it needed a website, and ended up becoming the #1 Outlaws website completely by accident. And I was like, man, this game needs a bigger fan base if I've got the biggest website. But anyway, so yeah, I talked to a couple of people over at LucasArts as a result of that, and they actually offered me a potential gig. It just didn't pan out, but I almost forgot about that. It's been so many years. Did every spell hit allies in Diablo 1? I don't think so. I think you had a direct attack to hit people in Diablo. But people hacked. A lot of the hacking started there too. So people would use memory hacks and get all kinds of stupid things like 3 million hit points and crap like that. One of the more interesting hacks that they would use on people is they would come in and they would they would open portals in town that would send you straight down to like the bottom of the hell level or something. Yeah, it was very Wild West for a while there. All right, who's killing all my spiders? Yeah, I guess some of the AoE stuff like would hit, but most of the spells in Diablo 1 were just direct. Usually the tactic of people would be to attack you while you were mixing it up with mobs, of course. Nobody like that ever wanted a fair fight. But then they found out pretty quick that sorcerers were dangerous no matter how many hit points you had because, what was it? The bone spell, what the hell was that called? It basically worked on a percentage. So if you hit somebody with enough of those, it didn't matter how many hit points you had, you'd have them down to a reasonable amount of hit points, and then you just gun them down with big fireballs. Hey, Algeon. The Sentinel, should I focus on intelligence? Sentinel. That's kind of what build is that again? What archetypes? That's like, isn't that protection and something, wizardry and something else? Or is it protection and warfare and spiritual or something? I forget the mix. Oh my god, I've got 3 of these things on me. What is going on here? Hold on. You go from no spiders to too many spiders. 835 for that little bugger. Archery, witchcraft, and protection. Ah, that's right. Well, I mean, 2 of those are going to be heavily melee. With witchcraft, let's see here. So you're probably going to want to run similar to the way I'm running here for witchcraft. You're going to take dots. You're definitely going to want to have leech because it's a heal that does damage. Eternal worms. It's kind of a must-have if you keep going in the tree. But if you want to avoid having wasted spell points with that mixture, I would not focus on intelligence. I would recommend focusing on might and give yourself maybe 10 points in intelligence and then from stats up through maybe 25 and the rest just let it be from items and then concentrate on different item mixes and see what works out for you where you can like fill the gaps in stats that you're low on and then concentrate on might. Might should still be your base main stat with that mixture. Unless you're not going to go as heavy into the archery tree and you want to go heavy into witchcraft and protection is just a support that you're using for heals and things of that nature, then maybe you would want to go intelligence. Just depends on which of those. If you go heavier into archery, go might. If you might and dex, and if you go heavier into witchcraft and go intelligence. And as far as like your vitality, you might want to just ignore that stat, except for maybe 1 or 2 points at the beginning. See how it rolls. If you find yourself getting a little bit too squishy, maybe put a point into vitality, but I would probably ignore vitality for the time being. Wisdom, 10 points. Aim for around 10 points of wisdom. By the time you're 15, you should be fine, and then see how it rolls with your mana. But the most of it should be in whatever primary, either intelligence or might that you pick. I would say roughly 70% of your stat gains that you gain through leveling, you should be pumping into your main stat. Well, that's the thing. It's more of a supplemental, right? So you'll get points. You can always get items. Like when you start doing the bounty boards, you can always go and get items that will be for one base stat improvement or the other. And you can decide what to increase through imbuing your items, what you buy as far as equipment. So it isn't all going to be about the stats that you earn. It's going to be also a big portion of that is going to be how you equip yourself. So if you find you've got an issue and you need to spread out more points between the two, you can easily close the gap between 2 different ones. It's not that difficult to have a primary and then a sub stat, and you can keep them both fairly strong. So you might actually be able to keep them, you might actually be able to have a decent mix between intelligence and might if you balance it between the stats you spend from level gains and then the equipment that you wear and what you imbue. But roughly, like I say, it depends on how you're going to balance out what you're doing with your archetypes, really. You have to decide, do you want to go heavier into witchcraft than archery, right? That's where it's going to really make a difference. You don't want to be putting a whole bunch of points into the intelligence if you're only going to be using a handful of abilities, especially with archery. You're going to find archery does a lot of damage. Archery is maybe the most OP thing currently as far as like archetypes. So I don't think you're going to sell yourself short by putting points into might if you put a lot of stuff into the archery tree early. Well, in this character is definitely intelligence based. My other character is currently melee spec, so yeah, he's might. Yeah, I mean, in fact, I can go ahead and hold on a second. I'll log in my other character. We'll take a look at that guy for a second. Yeah, there's definitely a soft cap on stats, but it's pretty big. If you want to learn more about soft cap on stats and things of that nature, I would recommend you go check out Nazori, Nazori. Check out his YouTube videos and his Twitch channel. Check him out. He'll have spreadsheets and tutorial videos and explanations. And you can ask him questions like this and he'll have better answers than I would. But I know enough about this stuff to get by. Let's see. All right. So for instance, I'm more in a war priest. So I've got 2 melee. I've got 1 melee, holy and spiritual. Now I'm running this right now basically just because I'm leveling the archetypes. This isn't typically going to be my build. I'm going to be more melee focused, but I'm leveling up. Now this is another thing too that you guys may or may not know. You should try to level up every archetype up to a minimum of 20 while you're going to 25 to 30th level in Legacy. And you'll benefit from getting extra skill points by doing that you can spend in the 3 archetypes that you start to settle on. Also, you'll have plenty of stuff to experiment with, which is part of the fun. So you're going to want to, be able to be free to jump in and out of different classes and see what works for you, especially depending on, okay, right now I got a PvE to try to level, or I'm finally getting into PvP. You'll be ahead of the crowd because you'll have more experience with the different archetypes if you've already leveled all these things to 20. So I'm currently working on spiritual on this guy, which is only at 13. So that's my current lowest one. And holy's at 16. So that's why these 2 are in here right now. But if we look at what I've got in my stats, you can see right here. So this is my stat spread right now based on my gear and what I've spent in points. And you can see right here, might is at 34. So easily my highest stat. Yeah, Nazori is smart. He's a smart guy, man. He's easily as smart as I am. He knows what he's doing. I watch him, probably as much as any streamer that I watch. He probably doesn't even know that. He probably doesn't even know who the heck I am, but it's all good. Dexterity, you can see I've got it like 18, wisdom at 20. So this is where most people don't really know much enough about the game yet for us to know what's balanced and what isn't. You're going to have to just kind of like play it by ear. But like I say, 70% roughly from what I've seen done and what I've estimated. A good rule of thumb is whatever your primary stat is, put 70% of your stat points that you earn into that stat and put a spread of the other 30% into whatever your other sub ones are. Typically you're probably going to have one stat that really is going to be one that you don't want to touch much, like depending. So if you're a spellcaster, you'll probably ignore vitality or might to a much greater degree. Might, you probably wouldn't even put a point into it if you're just a pure spellcaster. And then the opposite is true if you go completely 3 melee archetypes. You're probably going to ignore intelligence for the most part and just gain intelligence through gains from your equipment, random stuff like that. Dexterity, though, is one that I know that has been overlooked early on in the game, and people are realizing that it's more important because, just like Bez was talking about earlier, he was asking me. So dexterity impacts your haste, and haste is basically about how fast you can cast spells, how fast you can swing or shoot basic attacks, etc. So I would recommend anybody up to right around, like my character here is Legacy 27, minimum of 15 in dexterity by this point. You're probably going to be aiming about 20. And then if you're an archer, if you go heavy archer, you're probably going to want to put even more. You might want to be putting 25 or even 30 points into dex if you go heavy into archery, because your rate of attack is going to be critical and you're going to be ranged and you're going to be just amped up. You'll know if you run into PvP with archer-based guys, they're going to be shooting at you like Legolas. I think they work well, yeah. I think that that's part of the fun that I'm experiencing is trying to make hybrid classes viable. Now, will it be more challenging? Yes, it'll be more challenging. But it doesn't mean that you can't find mixtures that aren't really powerful. It really does come down to, there's so many options here, you're going to have to experiment. There's going to be more than a few times that you're going to end up resetting your archetypes. You're going to have to put you're going to have to experiment with what skills you actually put in points for. And I would recommend screen capping. You find something that seems to be working for you up to your current level, your current effective level, I should say. And you think, okay, this is actually kind of fun and working. Go ahead and screen cap that and put it into a folder, on your desktop somewhere, and then start creating some little builds that way. I've already started doing that. And that way you've got a reference. So when you go out and you swap out and you start messing around with other archetypes, you can easily go back and say, okay, wait a minute, what the heck was I doing with this War Priest build again? Oh yeah, that's right. And then you just go and find your little screen cap and then quickly set yourself up and then start building on the skill points that you now have that you didn't have before. And then you can say, okay, well now I've got enough to afford to get a passive. And then you start experimenting with the different passives, etc. Yeah, then of course there's the element of the cards. They play a big role. And sometimes you're going to get lucky. Sometimes you're going to find a really sweet card that you're not going to be able to deny. You're going to say, okay, wait a minute, that card is just so good. I want to build around that card a little bit. And that might say, okay, well, it's time for me to reset that archetype then, because I got to get the points back so I can actually choose a couple different, skills here because I now have a sweet card for one of them. Or you'll find synergy that works between different cards, and they might even work across archetypes. Like, for instance, you might have something that really impacts dots of any kind based on a passive or a card, and that synergizes with dots from from other archetypes, and then you might not even have those currently in your setup, and then you switch to those because you're getting much more bang for your buck from dots, just as an example. So yeah, it's definitely set up that balance is not something they're going to be able to keep under control this early on in design. So there's going to be some things they're going to end up having to tweak or nerf or strengthen, of course. But we're all in an early phase of a game where a lot of the fun is that, even the developers can't be fully aware of what combinations can make what happen. So, there's so much variety. That's where I think a lot of the mystery is. And I think that's what's drawn a lot of players like me to the game, because we're thinking, okay, I can be that guy that comes up with that super sweet meta that nobody knows about, and just have fun with it. Oh, thanks. I'm trying to. I'm no teacher, but I'm an experienced PvPer and gamers for sure. So once I get into stuff like this, I pick it up. I'm not quick on the uptake, but once I learn, I learn. So I would just not be afraid to experiment. And also, don't be afraid to go into stuff like the war mode channel to get the bonus EXP and silver, because I find more often than not, people leave me alone. If you're lower level, most people are going to ignore you. You're not even going to be in high PvP areas, typically. So go ahead and jump on a war mode channel once in a while if you feel, like you're comfortable enough with it, and you'll just get an extra kickback for your experience. And that's that little channel selector to the right of the mini map, and then it brings up the channels. And there's actually, as the guys in my chat told me last night, and I thought they were lying, there are now actually 2 war mode channels. They're identical in name for whatever reason, but they just show up in different parts of the list, even though they're still channel 14 and channel 15, but there's a war mode channel in between, tucked in between there. Who knows why? Other little tricks, another one too, when you guys are leveling, that's super important that most people don't know at the outset, is for your personal buffs from items. There's 4 different categories that you can use at the same time. So you can pop on a drink like this landing brandy. You can pop on a baked item like these crackers or this bread, and you can pop on a meal, which is like this fries or pancakes, just as examples. And then on top of that, so that's 3 different buffs you can have running all at once. And then you can get whetstones, which work on any weapon, and they also work on shields. So if you're running a shield and sword, shield and dagger, shield and mace, whatever, and you feel like you're in a fight that could benefit enough from it, you could go ahead and even strengthen your damage, your attack rating by sharpening, so to speak, even your shield. So you'll double it up. Now, if you have a two-hander, it's automatically doubled. So you only have to use one stone on a two-hander, and you get, you know, double the bang for the buck from a single whetstone. And so that's how you can go and grind. And then another thing that I've also realized in recent days is that if you get a good enough set of gear and you have enough of these buffs going on and you're competent enough with your build, I wouldn't recommend doing it right away. But once you get to around 20, you can probably safely start going after higher level mobs that are even as high as 9 levels above you. I've seen, I would say no higher than 9 levels above you. And that's only if you really know what you're doing and you've got a really good build and a really good set of gear. But I would say it would be very safe most of the time to attack camps of mobs that are between 2 and 5 levels above you. That's probably a fairly safe range, depending on how many you can deal with at a time. And then you'll just get that much more kickback from your experience. Yeah, like I say, I didn't have a clue about these buffs either going in. So it was, I think I'd played at least a half dozen episodes before I even realized that was a thing. So that's why I tell people that every once in a while when I remember in the streams. And you could just go into the marketplace, buy most of your stuff will be cheaper. Not always, like I found out today. People are selling these pots right here. You can actually buy these health pots for cheaper on the Alchemist NPC. Everybody's selling these for like 53 plus, and you can go and buy the same pot for 50 off the Alchemist NPC that's just to the northwest of the bank, of the auction house here in Ravencrest. But as far as like other stuff, like especially like Bez was asking about the MOA, how to feed the MOA, right? Just type in MOA and rations. So once you get your bird, well, what's this saying? We'll conduct a quick restart in 20 minutes to apply some performance improvements to it. We expect it to be online and again right after the restart. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll be ending the stream here within 20 minutes. So MOA rations. This is what you feed your MOA bird to keep their stamina bar up. That's this green one right here. And this will start to increase over time as your bird levels, and you press Y, it brings up your transport window and it shows you where, like, if you have a ship, your MOA or wagon. And then you have a bonding with your pet. You click this little thing here, the little eye information icon. It shows you your MOA bond features. And this will gradually go up. And you can increase this greatly. When you run around the world, you'll be getting these MOA treats. And just go ahead and feed all the MOA treats you have in your backpack to your bird all at once. There's no point in waiting. It just will increase your bond level every single time you give a MOA treat. Yeah, I mean, it's a surprisingly deep game. I mean, that's what they've got going for it. I mean, it's not like the game is heavy on your hard drive or anything. The whole thing can fit on a thumb drive without even, trying. It's actually a very tiny. In fact, I looked at it yesterday. I was like, where are the files for this game? So if you go and you look at your install, it actually is extremely small, but the majority of your game for Ravendawn actually exists on your C drive in the app data folder, which is hidden. So that's where the majority of it is. And even that is small. That just has like sound files and stuff in there. But so yeah, the game itself is barely anything. That's why it downloads so fast and installs so quickly. It is small, but they've got a lot of stuff as far as like mechanics tucked into this little gem. So yeah, that's why people are digging it. It's kind of sad when you think about it. You got these giant AAA studios with 1,000 different people working on in-house, and they have a hard time coming up with a game that's as fun as this little game. What else do you need to say? I'm sitting here playing a free game that looks like this instead of Elden Ring. I mean, there you go. Because I've got actual options to actually make me think and actually be creative in my gameplay. We need these companies to understand that, yeah, hello, gamers aren't stupid, by the way. We want more meat with our potatoes. We want to have more in our games so that we can actually do more, especially if it's a multiplayer game, as an individual, and actually have an impact on the game world, which is another thing. Like Bez has been asking me about Ultima Online. That was another reason why Ultima Online was so ahead of its time and blew everybody's minds, because first off, it was our first big MMO experience, at least for me it was. And then everybody, it was a skill-based system where you literally had a whole list of skills that would go up over time with you. So depending on what you were doing in the game, you automatically got more powerful in whatever you preferred to use. So it just kind of created individuals all by itself just in that. And then on top of that, the professions mechanic, which is another thing this game apparently has going for it. It's not like Albion where you just swap gear or tools and suddenly you're able to do anything you want to. You actually have to really work to be good at a profession in this game, and then that has value, and so the things that those guys craft will now be something they can sell for a big profit and will be actually meaningful to players on the auction. Duh, I mean, that's the way it should be, but most these games that are out nowadays nerf everything to the point that it's so generic that you feel like, well, I'm just another number in the machine and I'll never amount to much of all. Or everybody's the hero, which of course is stupid too, and so the whole world thinks you're the chosen one, but yet there's all these other chosen ones running around and we're all ignoring one another. You know what I mean? It's a... I don't think there's much overlap with Albion crafting in this. I mean, there's some similarities between all crafting systems, but as far as like, one of the biggest things that stood out for me in Albion right out the gate is how you can never get a damn node. I'll tell you the truth. I logged into Retail Albion day one. I couldn't even find a node to mine. That's how many people were out there mining. It was stupid. Like, everybody could do the same thing. So no one was striving to be different because you couldn't be different. So everybody needed the same exact resources. So there was nothing to be had if you were not able to get in fast enough. That's why Albion just like completely pushed me away. I was like, I don't want to be in this cookie cutter environment. So I don't think that the crafting in this game is very much like Albion, because you really do actually have to work hard to get the points up in the crafting system in this one. And you have to have, it's harder to get the resources in this one. Not everybody's just going to run out. There's 50 million nodes. You actually have to go down into the mines, into the different caves, fight monsters while you're trying to get the ore. And the ore and mining is very, very slow, just like all the leveling seems to be in this game. I mean, let's look, like my professions. I'm only at mining 2. I mean, 2. I mean, it takes ages. So that's the thing. I mean, if you want to make money, you can make a few thousand a day just by being a decent miner. If you get your mining up high enough, I guarantee you're going to be able to make good extra money on the side just from just tinking on ore nodes down in the occasional dungeon. And as far as like the professions, I'll admit I don't know enough about how they're actually doing their stuff, because I don't have the patience for it right now, because I've done that. I mean, in Dark Age Camelot, I could tell you horror stories, dude. I used to have to do macroing and stuff just to get through the crazy amount of dings it would take to get to GM crafting in that game. Holy mackerel. Yeah, I never want to go through that again, ever in my life. But it paid off, but yeah. Hopefully it's not as painful in this game. But I'm avoiding the crafting in this game, admittedly, because it's just not my cup of tea. I'm concentrating on just kind of playing and streaming. I don't think people would have much fun watching me craft. Anyway, I'm going to switch back before the server goes down real quick and see if I can get a couple more points on my other build. So, hang tight here. Whoop. Attack as soon as I log in. Little pesky spider. Well, he's not so little, actually. Level 28. 835 experience. Thank you. All right, anyway. Hope that all that information comes in handy. Like I say, though, check out Nizori. I wish that lasted a little longer. 10 minutes. All right, so we're ending the stream here in less than 10 minutes, guys. It's been fun. I will be back again. Probably not tonight, but I might be back with some Baldur's Gate multiplayer tonight, maybe, if my buddy wants to play. We'll see. He was talking about it earlier. We haven't done that in a while. We might start up a fresh game, or I'm not sure. I still haven't gotten anywhere close to through that game because I just haven't had enough time, and people can't get together enough to do multiplayer. So we're gonna maybe do a 2-man. Yeah, so there's an ability like right there. Like I would like to do something to buff the duration of those tentacles to get them to last longer. So only a second and a half, which is pretty pathetic, but. Eve, yeah, I tried Eve ages ago. Eve is definitely a hardcore game for stockbrokers. Hey! Ho ho ho! We got the point. Leveled to 23 in shadows, and I'm 23 across the board here. There we go. Now I got the 3 points. Now we're gonna plop on Bloodmancer. Boom. Whenever you deal damage over time, heal for 10% of the dealt damage. That's what I was aiming for. We'll see how that rolls. This should also heal me because it's a dot. Am I healing? Yep. Nice. Still took a lot of damage from those buggers, though. See, I may have to do something about my armor or my vitality. I might end up putting a point into vitality or something. Because my hit points might be a little bit on the low side. Although they are 2170, that's not bad. Well, mission accomplished as far as getting to that level just before the server went down, so I will take it. Kill a couple more spiders here, and then... Yeah, against one, my health is definitely staying up. Alright. Stats. 2 points to spend. Alright. So I'm just going to... Well, let's see. I'm going to get a necklace that's going to buff my wisdom and my intelligence when I get enough points into Ranger's company. So I'm going to go ahead and put a point into Dex and a point into Vitality. Hmm. 10% just doesn't do as much as I would like, but it's a numbers game, I guess. Better than nothing. All right. One more. Dot. Dot. Tentacles. Boom. Full hit points. Yeah, and if you're using witchcraft, I definitely recommend these 3 abilities, especially if you're hybrid. Tentacles, the leech, and the base dot, curse. Pretty easy. It's 5 points. Pretty easy to get those points to spend on that, and then you can mix and match with the rest of the archetypes. But those will be useful for pretty much any build that's using witchcraft. Oh, okay. Fire. Oh, I'm definitely see all the green ticks on me. That's all from my different dots. I'm getting a little taste of that. They're small, two, but it all adds up because I had 3 different dots on that one critter. So that's all from the Bloodmancer. Anyway, I think on that note, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for keeping me entertained while I was entertaining you, and I will be back with more. Like I say, there might be a stream with Baldur's Gate 3 multiplayer tonight. We'll see what happens, but this is the second stream of the day for me. I was up super early this morning. There's another stream just before this if you want to check that out. And this was episode 18, so there's plenty of other content of Ravendawn there if you want to follow along. There are a couple things in there that are titled that should give you a tip off that they might show you something like. There's one that shows you how to get some of the cool free cosmetics, little walkthrough on how to get like this wizard's hat and stuff like that. So if you don't know about that, check those out. There's one of the episodes in there, I think within the first 10 episodes, I think it's in there that talks about something like that. Anyway, I'll be back when you least expect it. I'm Dr. Sachs. You guys have a good rest of your evening, morning, wherever you are.